Evening, everyone. We are joined now by Josh Langford. We will have a couple players afterward. Just waiting for Josh to get settled up on the podium. Josh, you there? Can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to go to questions in the chat. And hold on one second. Let me just see where we are. We'll go first to Chris Solari.
Hey, Josh, this obviously was a big win for NCAA hopes for you guys. I wonder if you can kind of break down where you feel that's at and also kind of run us through that sequence at the end after the turnover, and then you come back and get the three after the foul.
Yeah, man, it's definitely been hard, for us with, the weeks that we just went through, in terms of all the amount of games that we played, the mental, the emotional, weight that's put onto us. It hasn't been easy to carry. And just to come out tonight and get a win, I think that speaks volumes to the character of our team. One thing that we always say, before we go out and play with the guards and just with everybody in general is that we want to keep the right attitude despite what we see, despite the highs and despite the lows, but staying even keel no matter what we see. And I think this team has done a really good job of that. And then, the sequence of having that turnover and then turn around and hitting that three. I think that's just years of playing and realizing that the game, it continues. I easily could have been thinking about that turnover and, because I was so focused on the last play, I could have took myself out of that present play and missed that shot. And so, I just wanted to continue to keep giving my all on the court and, have a short memory. And, that's, I got a result that I wanted to see.
We'll go next to Larry Lace.
Josh, can you reflect on the bounce back performance from Rocket Watts?
Oh, man. Words can explain, how proud I am of him. I'm with him every day. I've seen the work that he's put in. I've had the conversations with him, of just how he's wanted to just do so well for this team, and for him to have a breakthrough tonight, of that nature, it's just exciting, and it's not nothing that has surprised anybody, because this is the Rocket that we seen, last year, when we start making that run towards the end of the season. He was the one that was kind of carrying us then, along with Cassius, but. Just for him to have this game tonight, it's special, man. It's really special because, he's an unbelievable talent, but most of all, he's more of an unbelievable person. And just to see him get rewarded, for all the things that he's kind of been through. It hasn't been an easy year for him, and just to see that game, see him have this game is just, it's just awesome.
Go next to Jaina Bartle from the State News.
Hey, Josh. So we don't really get to come in the locker room anymore this season. So I'm just kind of wondering, after this game, when Coach came back in there, how was the celebration in the locker room after this?
Oh, you'll probably see it on Instagram. But, we just threw water. We threw water everywhere. Everybody got wet. But, it was just like, it was a celebration that was kind of like, man, everybody just kind of could relax their shoulders a little bit. Just because of all the work and how much we've had to persevere, and to be able to end the season, our conference play like this is, it's not much more you could ask for. And so, our work is not finished, but, we do want to, cherish this win because this is a memory that, like Coach said, that we will remember for forever.
We'll go next to Lindsey Huddleston.
Josh, you already touched on it a little bit earlier, but how can this win and this season be a metaphor for life if you're talking to someone who's not a basketball person, a young person, or someone experiencing adversity?
Well, I would say that basketball within itself is such a great life teacher. I've learned so many life principles, just through my experience with this game. And, one thing about the game is that it teaches you how to deal with adversity. And the best thing that you can do with adversity is to face it head on and to continue to endure and persevere because, you don't necessarily learn, you don't get the right lessons all the time when you're in your most comfortable state. When everything is in your comfort zone, you don't necessarily always get the lessons that you can use for your life. And, just this season, it's kind of been, it's kind of been highs, it's kind of been lows. And, you know, one thing that I feel like we've learned as a team is how to stay consistent, even when you don't see the results that you want to see. And a lot of times you can get so results driven that those results, that when you don't see the results that you want to see, it make you be high, it can make you be low. But if you're able to be consistent despite what you see, you always progress, and you always will mature, you always will grow in life. And so that's just kind of what this season has taught me.
Great,
We'll
thank
go
you.
next to Justin Rose.
Hey, Josh, I don't know if I've seen a more confident shot than the three you made when the game got a little close. Did you just kind of, I mean, how confident were you just pulling that up?
Ah, man, I was confident. You know, it's just from practice, man. I practiced that shot so much by myself. And you know, I've seen myself hit those kind of shots before. And so, you know, they kicked it to me. I can't remember who actually kicked it to me right now off the top of my head, but I felt like I was open. The whole bench was like, shoot it. And my subconscious mind was like, shoot it. My instinct was like, shoot it. So I shot it. And, you know, but at the end of the day, I think, you know, that shot, you know, maybe that did help us win the game, but it was so many other things that you know, played a part into us getting this win tonight. You know, like the question that asked me earlier, Rocket Watts, he did an unbelievable job for us tonight. And, you know, he gave us a great push. And so everybody pitched in, And so we just got to keep moving forward, man.
We have time for a couple more questions. We're going to go first to Matt Charbonneau.
Josh, we know the underlying theme this whole time has been NCAA tournament and the streak and trying to get that back. It seems like this probably did that tonight for you guys. But can you just talk about what it says about your team to be able to persevere through that? And not only that, to beat the teams you did these last couple of weeks, whether it's Michigan or Ohio State or Illinois. What does it say about you guys and where you're at right now at this moment?
I think it speaks volumes to the way to how great of a coaching staff we have, for starters. Just the way they've constantly just kept pushing us. They've constantly kept, because, man, let me be honest, it's not easy. It's not easy to come in and day out and see a result that you don't want to see. And so, especially when you're in a position of leadership and you have people following you, that's difficult, especially when you're even second guessing yourself. So for our coaching staff to come in every day and to really put in the time with us and to give 110% every day, I think that speaks volumes to the type of leaders that we have, not just in Coach Izzo, but in Dane Fife and Dwayne Stevens and Mike Garland, you know, our GAs, you know, the video guy, Drew Danisco, our trainers, you know, everybody has done an unbelievable job. And then, you know, the players, I mean, we've done a great job as well. And I think one thing that this has really helped us become is even more closer. And, you know, now one thing that coach said in the locker room is that, you know, we've been battle tested. And, you know, that's the good part about it, is that battles aren't going to end now. They're just going to increase. But because we went through this type of season, I think it's really prepared us. And so now we have to gain the wisdom and gain the lessons and, you know, take them with us as we move forward.
We'll go with two more. We'll go first to Kellen Buddy and then to Brendan Quinn.
Hey, Josh, obviously thrilling win. It makes it even better that it's been in front of the biggest crowd the Breslin Center has seen. How much were those fans from both sides kind of fueling you guys? And how exciting is it that you guys are going to Indy and there's going to be, you know, 800 fans in there to kind of liven up the environment a little bit?
To be honest, it'll probably be more weird than anything because we haven't been used to seeing the fans when we go to Indiana. But you know, just to have fans, you know, Rocky Watts, his mom was here, and I'm sure that gave him extra incentive. I think this was the first time she's got to see him play since he's been in college. So to just have their support, you know, is one thing that I think that we kind of sometimes take for granted, is the support, you know, of people, you know, in terms of fans. And so having those fans there today, you know, I think it really helped us. And, you know, I think it's really going to help us now. And I think it was even good that we didn't necessarily have fans before, because, you know, sometimes that pressure of the opposing fans can kind of get you distracted. And so now that we've got so used to just playing, you know, when the fans come now, it's just going to be like, you know, we've been so used to playing, it's just going to be like another day for us. So
We'll wrap it up with one from Brendan Quinn.
Hey, Josh.
hey,
Just kind of curious with your, you guys still seem to be an evolving team. You had a 16th different starting lineup tonight, or lineup change tonight. Out of nowhere, 20 from Rocket, Joey with a different kind of game. You're evolving, and I just wonder what you see for the postseason with this group, where usually things are a little settled now at this time, but this year, I don't know if I'd say that.
I see greatness, man. I see that, what I see is just a team really coming together and just playing Michigan State basketball. And as we all know, this is the time where Michigan State is at their best. And, we're just going to keep trying to grow, keep trying to mature, and, be happy for who's ever doing well. And I think that does speaks volumes to the variety of talent that we have on our team. That, like you said, Joey had a game, Rocket had a game. And so now it's just about us, putting all those pieces together and just doing what we can do.
Gotcha. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Josh, thanks so much for your time.
Yep.
We appreciate you coming up, and we'll have Coach Izzo shortly.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're getting set to be joined by Coach Izzo. There he is. Coach, you want to start with an opening statement?
Well, it's been a hell of a 16 days. I told my guys probably 6 games ago that, when we were looking at definitely playing 4 top 5 teams, I don't know if anybody's ever done that in the end of a conference season. And I said, it'll be a memory-making experience if you can do your job. And to win 3 out of 4 of those games with the schedule we had, I just think speaks a lot about the character of our guys. Assistant coaches did a hell of a job. We beat 3 really, really, really good teams and got beat by a really, really, really good team. I think Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan all have a legitimate chance to be a Final Four team. And, to have to do it tonight, and at times we played very well in that game. Not all the time, as you saw. We squandered some things at the end, but for the most part in the second half, we had decent control of the game against, like I said, a very, very good team. We got play out of so many different people. I mean, sure, Rocket had a career game. His mother was here. Joey Hauser played really well. Aaron, after I thought a sluggish 2/3 of the game, came back when it was money time. And poor Josh, I thought he struggled, probably getting in foul trouble. And when he hit that 3, I mean, I was standing right next to him, and I was telling him to shoot it before he caught it, because it just was a play that he was wide open, and he just went straight up, straight down. It was as picture perfect as you could get. And I'm looking right at the ball, right at his head and right at the rim, and it was in the whole way. And I was happy for him. We got some play out of our centers. Marcus Bingham, did a good job. Marty didn't play as much, but I thought Julius did a very good job. Gabe Brown came in and didn't really score much. Got some monster rebounds at the end, and goes 4 for 4 from the line and pressure pack shots. I thought I did a poor job of getting him involved early. And maybe an unsung hero is we talked about playing Jack Horberg to get somebody to move the ball. And, for Jack to play 6.5 minutes, including those couple of minutes at the end of the half where, we needed someone to defend and move the ball. Guys like Jack and Josh that work every day on their game in here. Good at kids as you got to have. It just was meant to be. But the 16 days, but I never go through anything like that in my career. And I'm proud of my team and happy for our program, happy for our former players, happy for everybody. Happy for me to go home and get some rest tonight and then see if we can move on and get ready for the Big Ten tournament.
Our first question comes from Larry Lage.
Can you reflect on the performance Rocket had today, and can you share some of what you said to him after the game on the court?
Well, it's been tough for Rocket, trying to figure out the difference between being a point guard and a 2-guard. We did talk about some things that we thought we could exploit that we didn't do as good a job of the other day, and he got downhill pretty good. And, I just told him, I said, man, if you just would, he said, I took a couple bad shots. Yeah, you did, but a couple isn't as bad as whatever. And he did what we asked him to do, and that was get downhill, get to the free throw line, get inside the free throw line. And there are some opportunities to pull up. And that's when he told me, Coach, my mom came for the first time she's seen me in college. And even tough old Rocket, was in tears. And that's, those are the kind of things that make the job worth the job. Because there's a lot of things that don't make the job worth the job, but those are moments. So they had memory-making 2 weeks, and I got a memory-making moment that day to see how much that impacted him. That was pretty cool.
Next, we'll go to Chris Solari.
I know that there's still obviously games ahead next week, but with those 3 wins over top 5 teams here in the past 13 days or whatever it is, do you feel like you guys have done enough right now to say we deserve to be in regardless of what happens down in Indy?
It's funny. I was listening to a show last night, and kind of a guy who has a little bit to say said, I don't think anybody with a losing record in their conference should ever be in the tournament. And I just thought, man, nobody appreciates how good this league is. That's part of the problem. And because where we can say, well, it was like the, ACC, in 04. I don't know how many teams the ACC had in the conference in 04, but it probably wasn't 14, was it? I don't know. I mean, they're good all the time. So, I mean, I'm not picking apart one or the other, but nobody during a pandemic year has ever gone through anything like this. And, I'm not going to worry about what happens to Michigan State. I think there's a bigger picture here, and that's the Big Ten Conference has been, there's not even an argument that it's been the best conference in the country all year. Well, the best conference in the country should get 9, maybe even 10 teams in this year. And so I look at that a little differently. But I'm not on the committee. Remember the year we thought we were a 1 seed and we didn't get there. And that was the year we got beat by Middle Tennessee. You know what? I'm not politicking for anything. We did just about everything we could do. And I think that because of our league, because of the other teams in our league, because of how good Michigan is, how good Ohio State is, how good Iowa is, how good Illinois might be as good as everybody. And to think we beat 3 out of the 4 top 5 teams. I think, if I had a vote, I'd vote us in.
As a follow to that, going to Indy, do you feel like the way you guys have played maybe in the last 7 games or so that you can play yourself in by getting an automatic bid? I mean, having beaten all those teams, I mean, I would imagine the confidence is as the highest it maybe it's been all year.
I'm going to just reserve the right to say, I'm going to enjoy this game and not look at that. Because we're good enough to lose to some teams that were on the bottom of our schedule too. And I mean, there's a reality to it. The injuries, I still say Josh right now, I'm a little worried about, he just doesn't seem to be moving as good as he was the last 2 games. So really gotta, try to get him some rest in the last 2 days. But really, I mean, if it's up to me, he's not going to practice and do anything. So that's one of my issues. But hey, we're good enough to beat a lot of teams if we do the things right. Our margin for error is so slim, you can't shoot bad from the free throw line. We shot better. We got to rebound the ball. We did. The biggest thing is, we had 8 turnovers. And when we're under 10, that makes a big difference. We shot it pretty good from the field. We didn't take a zillion threes. We did some things we could learn on, but we're still not running like we were. And I think part of that is our wings aren't running as much because for Josh and Aaron, a little worn down. And, as I said, the unintended consequences, if you get an injury, you know what your injury is. When you've had COVID, like some of those guys had, there's unintended consequences that could last for months. And I don't know that. So I'm going to go down to Indy feeling good about our team, knowing we had a lot of work to do, and we're good enough to win some games, and we're good enough to get beat in the first game. I don't know who we're going to play yet. I guess it's Maryland or Rutgers. And, both those teams have beaten us. We beat one of them. That's kind of the way the whole year is. So who's playing well? It wasn't like we shot the lights out today. We won it the old-fashioned way. We probably won it defensively. I know it wasn't for that stretch at the end. We had a 10, 11-point lead, missed a couple of front ends of a 1-on-1, or maybe we could have put it away. But Michigan's good. They got a really good team. He's done a great job, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with. And who knows, we might play them again.
Next, we'll go to Kyle Austin.
Tom, I know you told your guys that, streaks are meant to be broken and not to worry about that, but that's obviously a lot of history to kind of be weighing on these guys for the last several weeks. So what does it say about them that they're able to, whether they got in today or not, that they put together a stretch like that with that kind of, in their heads?
I can't think of I said this to my team in the locker room after. I took all the pressure off, but I talked about the white elephant in the room. I told them not to worry about the streaks. They are made to be broken. Another streak was I've never had a losing season, and all those things get replayed. And I lay in bed at night and look up and I say, hey, this don't matter. There's other coaches that are better than me that have gone through streaks. But you're damn right it matters. I mean, it matters to me because it matters for Mateen. It matters for what they built. It matters, for Travis and Raymar and Draymond and, all the guys throughout the years, Gary and of course, Denzel and then Cassius and Xavier. I heard from Cash this morning, and it matters. It doesn't mean streaks aren't meant, or they're going to be broken sometime. Life doesn't go on forever. But did it matter? It mattered, and I think that was just one more piece of pressure on them. I tried to take it off them. I'm not stupid. It's like I try to tell them they're not as bad as Twitter says they are. I'm not stupid. I don't follow it. I just know what guys go through nowadays. You put the pandemic in on that and everything else. This team will not hang a banner. They will not hang a championship banner. Who knows what will happen in the Big Ten or NCAA tournament. But if there's never a banner hung or anything done, this team should be appreciated by our fans for what they went through and what they gave us, because they hung in there, man. They hung in there. I told you practices were always pretty good. I told you when I didn't think we're playing good, when we needed better guard play, we needed better center play. I think I was pretty honest with you the whole time. I'm proud of this team because they did what I asked them. And that's, go out and make a memory for yourself. Because 15 years from now, when they talk about the pandemic, they can say, yeah, we fought through it and found a way to get into that tournament, and that's going to be worth a memory-making moment. I promise you that.
Next, we'll go to Audrey Dahlgren.
Hi, Tom. Rocket last year in the regular season finale, he had 19 points in the game against Ohio State. Today, obviously, he has a career day. Did anybody remind him of that? And secondly, just how important was it to see that, you had more, Aaron Henry had more support with him and Hauser?
Yeah, Hauser was big too. I mean, Rocket was big because, he for the most part, he took pretty good shots and things like that. But, it is funny because a coach, an old retired coach called me yesterday morning and he said, you know, your team just looks like they're at the end of that Michigan game, you know, they were so bummed out. Looked defeated. He says that they forget how good they had to play to win some of those games, whether it be at Duke or, you know, Rutgers at home or Illinois and Ohio State. He says, you should get some of those. So we had a 12-minute video of just all the plays that Hauser made or Rocket made or this guy made and put it to a little TV stuff. And, you know, I'd like to say to that coach that did that for me, thank you, because my video guy did a hell of a job in about 15 hours and got it all done. And, you know, I was impressed by it last night. I don't know if they were, but I was. And I think that had something to do with it. You start losing confidence in yourself, especially this day and age when the social media is killing you. And I thought that brought some confidence in him that this is what I can do. So I didn't bring up last year's game. To be honest with you, you know, I'm trying to push Rocket in a lot of ways. And sometimes, you know, it's good. Sometimes it's not as good, but you know, I felt there was a calmness to him today. Coming off the bench almost helped him in the first half. He was very good in what he said and what he did. He shot the ball really well in pregame shoot around. And I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for Hauser. He made some big plays, got some big rebounds. You know, I think Bingham doesn't get enough credit probably from his coach, but gets 8 rebounds, had a couple of blocks or 1 block and a couple of change. We just had a lot of guys that did a lot, you know, and some of them didn't show up in points, but you're right. We got a lot of play and Rocket was really good. And it did take a little off. Aaron, if I could get Josh and Joey now back consistently, then we turn into a real good team, I think.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Jaina Bartle.
Hi, Tom. I know you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but looking back at that Langford 3 late there in the final minute, how did that feel as a coach watching that go down, especially given the plays leading up to that? He had a foul, he had a turnover, so to kind of make it up with that play.
You know, not to be goofy, but I just kind of looked up at the heavens and said, you know, if there's ever a kid who deserves to have some success, his mom and dad drove all the way from Alabama to see him, it was Josh. I mean, that kid has been the difference in this team, and most of it has been somewhat with his play, but somewhat with his voice. And I swear, I did say shoot it before he caught it. It was just like it was meant to be. I'm not kind of that way all the time, but there's ever a guy that I just said, wow, you know, that's supposed to happen. It was that shot, that kid, for all he's given me and all he's been through.
Next, we'll go to Lindsey Huddleston.
Hey, Tom, great win. To the point of the former coach that reached out to you, I know you're not big on taking praise yourself, but you know, how do you feel about how you finished this season and considering what you were up against, giving yourself a pat on the back for what your team overcame and what you've done?
You know what, Lindsey, I'll give my assistance. I tell you why. I told you earlier, I didn't think I did a great job because I don't think I handled the COVID situation and understood it enough. And I really mean that. That's not humility. That's, you know, I wasn't getting through to them. I talked to another couple of good coaches that are really good coaches that said they had the same problem. My assistants hung in there. The scouting reports, I think the last 3 weeks have been so detailed and so organized. And all 3 of those guys, you know, Mike and 4 of them, DJ, Dane, Doug, they all did a great job. We met, we text, we had film sessions with our guys. That's the one thing I do appreciate. You know, we didn't quit working, and I told you our practices were always pretty good. That's hard to do when you're struggling and when you're tired. But man, what a day, what a night. I just sad that there weren't 15,000 people in there. I hope all of our fans that are out watching and watched on TV, I hope you appreciate the players and the assistant coaches, because they did a lot. You know, I get paid to do this job, not that they don't, but there were a lot of guys, Lindsey, that did a lot of work. My trainer, my God, that guy should be MVP. He's done a hell of a job, him and the strength coach, trying to keep everybody as healthy as we could. You know, I said we were going to bring in a masseuse or something. You know, we couldn't even do that because of COVID, you know. So I wanted to take a quick class and see what I could do for my guys, but I didn't do that. But yeah, you know, I think when you overcome something, everybody deserves some credit. But the players play the game, man. The players play the game, and they're the ones that had to suck it up. And I've been proud of a lot of teams. I've had a lot of great players. I've had a lot of great people. And this team has driven me crazy in a lot of ways because I think we're all a little crazy right now with everything we've all been through. But when I get a chance to sit down this summer, there's going to be an appreciation for a team that, let's face it, this could be one of my worst records in my career. This could be no banners, you know, no rings, which is a little different here. Could be a lot of those things, and yet I think it'll be one of my prouder moments as a coach. And I would like to say this too, so I'm glad you brought up other people. You know, we went on a mission early, David Thomas, my ops guy, and our people over in 1855 to try to make our arena look as comfy and homey as it could be, you know, and the only thing they didn't get done is I told them to motorize those cutouts so they could swear at the refs, and they didn't do that. And that's the only thing I'm upset about. Other than that, the place looked gorgeous. They did a hell of a job. We tried to remember everybody that's been important in this program, from presidents to ADs, the section that we came up with of all my former players. I look at it every day in practice. I look up there and say, God bless me, man. Look at those guys that I had. And I went up there one night, my wife, and I took pictures of different players and I sent them to different guys. I said, we didn't forget about you. And it meant a lot to me. So all those people over in 1855, the marketing people that did such a great job with those cutouts, and maybe the draping around and the floor, and the janitors did a hell of a job. There's so many people that deserve credit that I appreciate you giving me. I'm on the bottom of that list. There's way more people that did more to keep us functioning this year than me. And but I appreciate it.
Next, we'll go to Rico Cooney.
Tom, I got a two-parter. First of all, can you just talk about how you doing? Talk about Rocket's character in responding to, you know, a little bit of tough love from you. And then my second question will probably be more of a Lindsey Huddleston question. Talk a little bit about your emotion coming off the court after today's win.
Well, the first part with Rock, I mean, for the most part, you know, Rock reminds me of Aaron in a way that, you know, there's a process to this. And the process is when you're struggling shooting, you got to work a little harder. You got to start falling in love with the game instead of just liking it, or, you know, and I talked to him about it. I mean, for the most part, we've had a lot of good conversations, you know. I don't think he was happy after that last Michigan game, and I don't think I was happy after the last Michigan game. But, you know, the texting didn't stop, the talking didn't stop. And I think it does show a lot about his character. Like, I walked off there and I said, wow, I'm proud of this kid. I didn't know about his mother at that moment. And I just looked at him and I said, hey, you know, you came into the huddle, said, I took a bad shot. And I said, yes, you did. And that was it. You know, I mean, I think people learn that all coaches want them to do is understand the situations. And, you know, we didn't even we have not run like we can run. And that is going to make his game even better. And so I just, I was proud of his character. I was proud of him, you know, and I told him when I wasn't. And that is tough love, but it's the right thing to do. You know, my job, I'm a teacher, and that's my job. And you know, I've got to, you know, some of the times it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But when a guy responds and when a guy comes off that you think is a little hardcore inside, and he's got tears in his eyes because his mom, I said, wow. I gave him a hug and I said, boy, It's just fun to learn the different sides of different people. And I always said about Mateen Cleaves, I got credit for that success. Everybody was going to put up a, statue of me after that 4-year period. And I said, boy, you taught Mateen a lot. I said, I didn't teach Mateen half what he taught me. He taught me how to deal with different races. He taught me how to understand people from different places. I mean, that kid taught me more than anybody, to be very blunt and honest, because it was a time and I needed to learn. So coaches learn too. And tonight, it wasn't a lot of fun after the last Michigan game, but at the same time, if you have enough character to come back and play like you did, deep down, you must have known some of that, or you wouldn't have done it. And I'm just ecstatic for him. Part two of that question was, what did you ask me?
The emotions that came out from you after.
Yeah, walking off that court and seeing him and, hearing some fans in the stands. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, seeing some parents, seeing my family there, there were people in the stands that I haven't seen. And that meant a lot to me. This place means the world to me. It always has, and it always will. And, I know some our former coaches were there. Some of our football guys were there. We got as many people as we were legally allowed to get in. And I think in general, it felt good to hear people. And then when I saw Rocket with tears in his eyes, it was just, I said, wow, what a difference 3 days makes, And that's the way the world is, Now, as I told him in the locker room, how do we sustain excellence? How do you sustain that? How do you do that? That's what everybody looks for in the world is consistency, and that's the hardest thing to get is consistency. So, we've had a pretty consistent 2-3 weeks here, a little slip up here and there, but a pretty consistent 2-3 weeks. Not always playing great because we're not great, but as we're getting better. And I got to admit, when I walked off that court, I felt a little bit of the weight of the world off my shoulders because I thought we earned the right to be in. Whether we are or not, who knows? I won't look at that tomorrow. Hey, we got to win the first game at the tournament. We got to do this, we got to do that. But we did what we needed to do or supposed to do. And I keep saying, if you look at when we came back, and remember now, we played all 20 games. Yep. We played those games a couple days after coming back from COVID, and we got our butts kicked. And those kids hung in there, man. Played those 3 games in 6 days then with Rutgers, Ohio State, and Iowa. And I don't know if anybody gives them credit for it, but they deserve some credit for it. But they really deserve some credit for getting them off the floor and doing what they did. And emotionally, I'm a happy camper. This doesn't happen very often.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we have one final question. It goes to Brendan Quinn.
From the job you guys did defensively on Wagner to the job you did on Dickinson, can you just go from the last game to today, what you're most happy with in terms of the adjustments to your game plan, your scouting report, whatever it may be?
Well, as dumb as this sounds, Brendan, it was more offensively. I thought we were more in an attack mode offensively. We thought we had to do a better job with trying to exploit their ball screen defense. I thought we went at them. So defensively, I mean, they're really good. They got so many guys that can shoot it, And then if you start extending on those shooters, you got a 7-1 guy in there to deal with. And so I thought we found a happy medium. We got some help. But I mean, hey, you know what? One game you make some shots, one game you miss some shots. I thought we were pretty solid defensively, but I thought we were better offensively. At their place, I thought, we were terrible offensively. And part of that was they were good defensively. So just happy as hell to get a win, guys, and happy as hell to win 3 out of 4 against those caliber of teams. And happy to have the night off and look forward to tomorrow when we can start planning, give the players a day off, which they haven't had in weeks, and then see what we can do for the tournament.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're gonna have Rocket Watts here in a second. All right, there's Rocket there. We'll start with Kellen, buddy, because I didn't get to him last time. Kellen?
Thank you. Rocket, obviously a special moment here tonight. You say your mom saw you play for the first time ever, and we had the largest crowd here at the Breslin Center we've had for years. Can you just touch on that experience for you? And now how are you looking forward to the Big Ten tournament with a little more fans in the building?
I feel like it felt real good, seeing my mom in the stands and, me looking her in her eyes when I was on the court and seeing tears coming down her eyes. That mean a lot to me. And, just seeing everybody in the stands and cheering and stuff like that. And, the game was going well on our side. And, it just mean a lot to me.
Next, we'll go to Larry Lage.
Rocket, why has your mom not been able to attend a game in college until today?
She really not into like basketball and sports like that, but she always called me from my games and after my games, saying how proud she is, through the ups and downs. So, yeah.
Next, we'll go to Ian at Channel 6.
Hey, Rocket, when you're scoring like that, how much better can this team be when you have that much confidence in your game?
I feel like this team good, without me scoring, but, when I do score and, it just bring a little grit to the team and, everybody just be happy, seeing me score because they know what I've been through, throughout the season. So, I just want to say I'm very thankful for those guys, my teammates and the whole coaching staff for just being with me, through the ups and downs.
Next, we'll go to Chris Solari.
Rocket, I kind of want to, with the emotion, I guess, maybe of being on the bench those last 17 minutes at Michigan, I guess, what were the last 3 days like for you? And what was that first half in particular like when you just found the rhythm coming off the bench?
I feel like I was just real like mad at myself, not at the coach and anybody, just at myself because I know, I could have played a lot better and harder against Michigan at Michigan. And, I was just mad at myself and that just made me work harder. And my teammates just always talking to me, throughout the ups and downs, like I said. So, that just made me want to come out and play more harder and just knowing that game, meant a lot. And, if we win, that can look good, moving forward. So I just gave my all, came out to win.
And when did you know your mom was going to be in the stands and when did you first see her?
I think during the first couple minutes, when I checked in, I looked and I seen her. Then, it's just like I just got real happy and excited. Then I just got like mad energy, and it was just I don't know, it was just I don't know, it was just crazy.
Next, we'll go to Brendan Quinn.
Rocket, if you can go back 16 days ago, and if we told you that this group was going to go on a run like this, would you have believed it? And kind of, how would you describe the team's headspace back then of trying to turn this around?
I can't really hear you. Can you repeat that, please?
If I told you that 16 days ago this group was going to go on a run like this, it's been a little bit hard to believe. I just want, can you describe the team's mindset at that time?
Yeah. If you would have asked me that, I would have literally said to you, we is gonna go far and we gonna make the tournament, and we gonna keep practicing hard because one thing about Coach Izzo, he never gives up, man. He know what it takes for this team to go far and make the tournament and go far in the Big Ten tournament. So, and the guys that we got around us, the coaching staff and my teammates, they know what basically what it takes, and practice makes perfect. And we was just practicing hard, through the ups and downs, and tonight it showed.
Next, we'll go to Rico Cooney.
Hey, Rocket, talk a little bit about the things that Coach talked with you about, and maybe what stuck in your mind most with the conversations that you had with him about, the difficulties you were having during the season, and then to come up and have a game like you had today.
Coach Izzo, we always have our talks and meetings, and, he just always tell me, keep working out, stay to the course and don't ever give up. And, I've been like that my whole life, just, going through ups and downs. So, my main goal is to stay focused, and a big role that's playing in that is my mom and my dad. They stay calling me and just saying how proud they is of me, even if we win or lose. So I just feel like, that's all it right there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Rocket, that's all the questions we had for you today. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to have Aaron Henry here in a couple of minutes, and he will be the last player this evening. All right, there's Aaron right there.
Yes, I'm right here.
Start with a couple questions for Aaron. Start with Kellen at Channel 10.
Hey, Aaron, biggest crowd tonight at the Breslin Center we've seen in a long time. How special was that? And how exciting is it going to be for you guys to see a little bit more fans in the stands come the tournament time?
I'm going home. I can't wait for that. My mom and dad were here too, so I saw them. That was good. But it was just good to see faces in the stand, the green and white, man. And oh man, it was just a great day for everybody. Everybody, from the fans all the way to the people on the court. It was a fun day, a good Sunday, great Sunday.
Next, we'll go to Chris Solari.
Yeah, and I guess over the course of maybe 72 hours or however long it's been since that first Michigan game, what did you guys, just from a physical standpoint in terms of getting that extra day off, and then from a mental standpoint of trying to change things, what do you think was maybe the biggest difference between a couple days ago and today for you guys?
Well, starters, I didn't have a turnover today. So personally, that's something that, I'll shoot for. I'm trying not to turn the ball over, but the preparation we had is, well, we decided to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, move the basketball, compete at a high level. That's a great, great team, man. And they have so much versatility on defense and offense. But I feel like in the first game, man, our half-court defense was well. But in other aspects of the hustle stats, we just didn't do those types of things. And that's unlike Spartan basketball. So coach let us hear about it for sure, but it was positive though, because he knew that we had a chance to compete with this team. And we went out there, executed the game plan, and we played hard.
Next question comes from Lindsey Huddleston.
Hey, Aaron, I know you all about winning, so I want to get into the mind of a winner. Late in the game where it seemed like things could change or there could be some potential, upset, did the quote unquote Purdue experience come back in your mind, or was it never even a thought? You knew you guys were going to put this away.
Yeah, I try to take matters into my own hands and get guys shots or put 2 points on the board for my team, however I could do it, and do it on the defensive end as well. And this team's been through a lot, and we're going to continue to go through a lot, but it's with what we've been through, I feel like it's our time, man. We're only deserving, and I say that humbly and understanding that we have a lot of basketball to play. And I can't wait to get down to Indianapolis and compete for a Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, and just a quick follow-up. I asked Josh a similar question about basketball being a metaphor for life. But what you've gone through and how you kind of helped your team late in the stretch, how do you think that's going to help you beyond basketball and life, and when you tell stories or try to educate your peers or even your children when you have a family and things like that?
When the going gets tough, man, the tough people get going. And that's something I'll try to instill in anybody I come across. It doesn't have to be my family. Anybody that's in my circle I have an encounter with, just fight through the day. It's never as bad as you think. Somebody always has it 10 times worse than you. And that's the perspective that my parents put in me early. And Coach Izzo's only enhanced that with the fine tooth comb. And he's done a lot for me, as a man, more so than a basketball player. And that's where I feel like I've excelled the most, off the court more than on the court.
Thank you.
Next, go to Kyle Austin.
Aaron, 16 days ago, you guys were 10-9. You had the streak to worry about, all the COVID challenges to work through. What does it say that you guys were able to put through a stretch like you have the last 2 weeks under all the kind of pressure and circumstances you guys have had?
No, we ain't done yet. That's what it comes down to. We got a lot more basketball to play. We got a lot more to do, and we're not satisfied. The Michigan State wins championships, and we didn't win a Big Ten championship this year, but there are still championships to be won.
Next, we'll go to Ian at Channel 6.
Hey, Aaron, what was it like for you guys to see Rocket have that type of performance today, especially with his mom in the stands for the first time?
I'm so happy for him. Honestly, everybody's genuinely happy for him with the type of maybe up and down year he's had. And, I try to tell him I went through ups and downs last year as well. And I'm always trying to talk to him and just say, it's never as bad as you think. Somebody has it worse than you. Keep going. He was scoring the ball and making plays, and coach is trying to get me involved. I'm Rocket, go ahead. Go. Man, you're doing it. You're taking the right shots, making shots, getting guys the ball. Man, have fun, man. Go have a day. And we're going to need that throughout the rest of the season, though. So I'm just happy for him, man, that his mom was there and they get to have that moment for forever.
Sticking with WLNS, we'll go to Audrey Dahlgren.
Hey, Aaron, after the game, Izzo was mentioning that not that there was a big weight lifted off of his shoulder, but a little bit in a sense that, you guys have had these big wins over, these teams the last couple of weeks to make a good case for yourself for the tournament. So did you feel any of that kind of weight lift a little bit yourself after the game?
No, not for real. Still have a lot of basketball to play. I want to go to Indy and win a championship. Hopefully stay down there and win another one. I mean, that's the weight of the world to lift off my shoulders if we go 2 for 2 in that area.
All right, thank you.
We have 2 more questions for Aaron. We'll start with Chris Solari.
Aaron, kind of along the same lines with Rocket, when Josh had that turnover late and then drew that foul on that 3-point play, I guess, what are you telling him in those moments? And then what is it like as a fellow captain to see him come back down and hit that 3?
Yeah, he threw a turnover. I feel we should hang our hat on defense. You know, that's where personally I try to hang my hat on because that's just pride. That's just stop your man from scoring. And that's what, Josh does. And I try to, talk to our team about, we can miss a shot, we can make a bad play, but we going to get it back on defense. We'll do that for sure. And when he did that, I just get back and pass fake the rocket. I kicked it right to Josh and Josh hit it. I didn't hesitate at all when I passed it to him. I knew if it was going up, it was going in. So, I didn't think much of it. Josh has been doing that for a while.
And we'll wrap with a question from Sam Tyler.
Aaron, Marcus had a career high 24 minutes tonight, and he's sort of begun to play a lot better down the stretch of the season, and Julius Marble too. How do you think those guys responded defensively against Dickinson, who's a real load?
Marcus is growing as much as I've seen anybody. I was proud of Rocket tonight, but honestly, I was most proud of Marcus just because of how active he was. There wasn't any lethargic moments that I saw from him. He contested everything. He cut out. He was physical. Still has a hard time finishing the food on his plate, but, he competed tonight.
All right, Aaron, that's all we have for you tonight. Congrats on the win, and thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap us here tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.